There's a bit of an uptick in the Tether FUD. So I figured we'd take a look at why we're seeing this. Welcome back, everyone. Hope that you had a great weekend. I was actually in a space on Sunday night, and this XRP shill came into the room and just spouted off his memorized headlines. And anyways, it got me thinking, right? All of a sudden, I know that doesn't happen often. All of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, we're just seeing a little bit of an uptick in some Tether FUD. And I just want to preface this. I am not a Tether supporter. Tether is a shitcoin like every other shitcoin. It is produced out of absolutely nothing. It's a company. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, Tether's better than this thing. It's not. It's a shitcoin. It's a shitcoin like every other shitcoin. So who cares? But the point is that there is always competition, right? Because the amount of fees that can be made, if you go take a look at Tether's earnings reports, right? They make billions of dollars. Tether does very well. And of course, right, other companies which are not so successful at being shitcoins, they want that, right? They want that. They need to figure out how to get that. Okay, and one of the oldest shitcoins, which is kind of funny, right? Because Ripple has actually been around longer than Tether, just can't seem to catch a break. Just can't seem to catch a break. So let's dive into it. Ripple CEO claims U.S. government is obviously going after USDT. Tether's Arduino claps back. That's right, the CEO of Tether claps back. So it looks like there's a little bit of a spat here between Brad Garlinghouse and Paolo Arduino. Anyways, so here we go. Garlinghouse said, and for the people who don't know, Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO of Ripple, right? That issues the XRP currency. That's right, guys. XRP is not separate from Ripple. It is the exact same product. Okay, Ripple Labs is the company, and XRP is the product that they market. Anyways, for whatever reason, XRP army people don't. For whatever reason, they don't actually read their own information, and they just make up shit that isn't true. So one of the things they make up is that XRP is not issued by Ripple Labs, which we're going to show you in a second. It is. Anyways, all right. Garlinghouse said on May 10th episode of the World Class podcast that it's clear to him that the U.S. is going after Tether. That's totally not true. Anyways, which could trigger another catastrophic crypto black swan event reminiscent of the FTX implosion due to the sheer size of the company. So keep in mind, right? Brad obviously is creating a narrative, and you're going to understand why very shortly. Ripple and the SEC have been battling it out in court since late 2020 after the agency sued the fintech company for allegedly selling unregistered securities in the form of XRP. But last year, Ripple notched a partial court victory. That's right. The retail bag holders who bought this XRP shitcoin, essentially all the retail sales were okay, but not the corporate sales of their shitcoin. Anyways, so here we go. Ripple notched a partial court victory against the SEC when a judge found that programmatic sales of XRP to retail investors did not constitute securities. However, Wall Street's top regulator is now seeking a $2 billion fine from Ripple for violating federal securities laws with its institutional sales. That's right, because when it was sold, it was marketed as an investment, and therefore XRP has failed the Howey test. So Arduino, who is the CEO of Tether, also noted that Ripple is planning, here we go, guys, this is the signal all the way at the bottom of the article, right? All the way at the bottom of the article. Also noted that Ripple is planning to introduce its own dollar-backed stablecoin. But wait a second, I thought that Ripple already had XRP. Now they're going to introduce a dollar-backed stablecoin? Huh. Almost seems like dumping on the bag holders every quarter to keep the lights on and to keep the price stable just doesn't seem to be working. How strange. Anyways, it aims to compete with Tether USDT and Circle's USDC for a slice of the market share in the coming years. This is what happens when your shitcoin has no use case. You look for a use case. And that's what XRP is doing, because guess what? Brad has to keep the lights on because Ripple is a company that issued its own Chuck E. Cheese token called XRP. Anyways, and yeah, it's essentially, it's still an unregistered security. So, okay. So there we go. So there we have it. This is why the influx of Ripple Tether FUD in the last week or so. And I figured, because I've done multiple clips in the past as to why XRP is a total shitcoin, why the banks won't be using it. I mean, I've covered this time and time again, and of course, I'll put a link to those clips. But I figured we'd run through a couple of things here, right? Like, so for the people who always like to tell you that XRP isn't issued by Ripple, well, check this out. Ripple Labs, the company behind the XRP cryptocurrency, they hold the XRP in escrow. So for the geniuses in the XRP army that think that Ripple Labs doesn't control the escrow of shitcoins that comes out into the market, spoiler alert, it owns the fucking escrow, guys. The funds are locked up in a smart contract that releases a set amount of XRP each month, not even each quarter. I was being generous by saying each quarter. It's every month to maintain a stable supply of the cryptocurrency on the market. In other words, they dump their bags on the market to fund and keep the lights on, because you see, they don't actually have a product. Because if they did have a product, they wouldn't need to dump a shitcoin onto the market to keep the lights on. But they don't have a product. So this is how they make money. This is actually one of my favorite narratives that hasn't come true. Okay. It's been, so if you think about it, right, we're in 2024. This has been 14 years. 14 years these people have been telling you that the banks are going to use XRP. No, they won't. No, they won't. R3, okay, R3 isn't using XRP at all. R3 is a private corporation that is helping to develop, digital currency frameworks through the use of the ISO 20022 protocol, which isn't in any way, shape, or form owned or controlled by XRP. That is an open protocol that any corporation can build against. I've said this again in multiple episodes. So the idea that banks are going to use their shitcoin, no, they won't. No, they won't. So again, XRP is always in search of a use case because it has none. Another aspect that the XRP army like to point out is that it's going to replace the Swift network. Again, this is what I was just mentioning. That R3 company, that is not a company that is in any way, shape, or form owned by XRP or by Ripple Labs or anything like that. They are the ones that have been tasked with developing this digital currency framework, okay, for the banking system. And the banks have hired their own internal people to develop their own infrastructure based on the ISO 20022 standard, which like I said, in no way, shape, or form is owned or controlled by Ripple Labs or XRP. Anyways, so there'll be a link to that, one of the first clips that I made debunking this bullshit that the banks are going to use it. It's kind of a messed up clip, right? Because it's a bit of two pieces, right? It is part of it is the Tether FUD, and part of it is the XRP FUD, essentially trying to get new bag holders to buy into the fact that, or the idea that XRP is going to become some type of a worthwhile stable coin product. So look. This is the other piece, right? I don't, what I said at the beginning, like I am not a Tether fanboy. I think all of this stuff is crap. Okay. To me, Tether exists because of trading. Because the reality is that somebody who actually holds and accumulates Bitcoin doesn't ever use Tether. I don't ever actually use Tether. So the tax implications, which is something I learned in one of my previous clips, that I had pointed out. I thought that there was maybe some tax benefits to using Tether, but there aren't. So really it's just a digital dollar that's on an exchange for you to use. But keep in mind, right, the people that want to make you believe that Bitcoin somehow disappears because Tether gets taken over by the US government, which, spoiler alert, They have $73 billion in treasury bonds. If you think for a second that Tether isn't somehow controlled by the US government, you're just lying to yourself, okay? But again, this is my point. Bitcoin existed before Tether. Okay, Bitcoin was being used and traded long before Tether. Tether only came out in 2014. So what was everyone doing before then, right? How did Bitcoin exist before 2014? So look, the XRP army people, they are always going to try to get you to believe that their shitcoin is the next thing. And oh, look, we've partnered with the IMF. Look, I've said this 1,000 times. This partnership parade shit. Take a look around at all of these publicly traded companies that have announced partnership after partnership. What has it ever meant to their bottom line? Almost nothing. It is in most cases completely unmeasurable. Okay. And the reason is because it is a giant nothing burger. It is a publicity stunt. Okay. No one is ever actually going to use XRP. Sorry, that is the truth. Okay. Because the reality is that any company that wants to leverage any kind of these technologies, all they're going to do is build it for themselves internally and own it for themselves. That's all that's ever going to happen. So anyways, guys, yeah, so that's the big thing. This is why you're seeing the FUD. Tether is going to have some new competition from a very old, boring shitcoin named XRP. That's the deal. So, guys, it doesn't make a difference. Bitcoin is, and that is enough. The rest of this stuff is just noise. Catch you tomorrow.